Hey everybody, we got Devin here, Curtis. So we are going down to our first Spartan race of the year in Vegas. Have you done Vegas before?
No, this is the first time.
And this is your second Spartan race ever?
Second Spartan race ever, first time in Vegas.
So my goal is to get in the top 5%. Is that your goal too?
My goal is to beat Zac's.
His goal is not going to happen. And then what's your goal, Devin? Just to look handsome?
Less than an hour and a half.
Less than an hour and a half. And we were on our way to Vegas. It was about a 6-hour drive, so we decided to stop in St. George and stay at my cousin's house. Now, I'd been training for this race for about 4 weeks, so not as much as I should have, but I was running at the track every week. Heck, I ran through a snowstorm, and I was mainly focusing on some hill runs because I tend to cramp during these Spartan races, and I wanted my legs to be super ready. All right, we made it. 15 minutes to spare. It's like 44 degrees, and we are ready. How we feeling?
So good.
So good. All right, see you out there. We got there with about 20 minutes to spare, so I did a little 15-minute warm-up to get ready. And lately, I've noticed the Spartan races have like a pre-game, so we had to crawl under some barbed wire and go over a wall before we even started. Let's do this.
I am Spartan!
I'll see you out there, man!
I am Spartan!
Spartans, what is your profession?
Oh! Oh! Oh!
Let's go! Have a great race, guys. Have fun, be safe.
And the first Spartan of the year had officially started. After our ruse to get us all pumped up, we were off. The first obstacle of the day was what I think was a 3-foot wall. Pretty easy. If you need help, remember you can help boost people with their feet, help them get a leg over and get on it. Something else to note is you want to make sure you have plenty of electrolytes and salt. This is a mistake I made at the Utah Beast a few years ago, and I cramped the whole time. So now I always carry salt pills and pickle juice. I take a salt pill probably every 15 to 20 minutes, and pickle juice is just for emergencies if I start cramping. Trust me, it's magic. It's literally the potion that does wonders. Now this race had about 4 or 5 water stations, but I started using a runner's bag to keep water on me just so I could go a little quicker and not have as many stops. Then we had the barbed wire crawl. So my biggest tip for this one is if you go to the far right or left side where the barbed wire ends, usually you have a little more room. You can see right here, I head that way, and to me it's just efficient. A lot of people go in the middle and it hangs down and almost catches your shirt sometimes when you're almost flat. So I say work smarter and work harder because it's a Spartan race. This obstacle felt twice as long as other barbed wire crawls I've done, and the rocks were pretty brutal on the knees. You know, I've done Seattle, it's soft, Utah's not near this rocky, so this was tougher than usual. Up next were the monkey bars, and on the monkey bars, the rings and the rope climb. I always like to get a little dust in my hand and then clap it off, because I often have sweat or water from the mud pit, and it makes it a little slick. And for that reason, I've started doubling up like that guy is next to me on the bars, because there's one race where I was just swinging one hand on each, but because of that sweat, I slipped and missed the bell. Alright guys, regardless of this obstacle's name, being the slip wall, it's actually really grippy and much easier than you think. I often see people skipping this, doing the penalty loop or burpees, but really, give it a try. It's not that hard, and you'll be happy you did it.
Black ones or red? Okay.
Biggest mistake I see people do with the plate carry. They choose a random one, and the plate gets stuck on a piece of rock or a little dip. There's often dips from people dragging it. So I'm always picky. I choose what looks the flattest, the smoothest, because I've had it before where mine gets stuck or my friends get stuck, and it's almost impossible to jerk it out there when it gets lodged in. So just take a few extra seconds, choose a good path. It'll save you doing the penalty loop or just sitting there for a few minutes trying to jerk it free. At this point in the race, I was feeling pretty great. I was staying ahead of Devin and Curtis, and after my trash talk, that felt good. But then we got to the spear throw, and I'd only ever made the spear throw once 4 years ago in my first race. I always slightly throw it to the right, but luckily during practice, I threw it great, so I was feeling good. One thing you want to make sure you do is always keep the rope on the target side, otherwise it can get caught on the fence. I see that happen a lot. I always balance it to make sure I'm not holding too far forward or back.
I stepped on it, so.
Yep, another rookie mistake. I stepped on part of the rope. So it was 30 burpees, and this was my first time in 4 years ever having to do burpees. Well, the guys caught up. First, Devin made his spear throw, so I was getting a little nervous. And next, Curtis nailed his spear throw. So there was a lot of catching up to do.
Scoping people out. Yeah.
The sandbag carry. I will say it's slightly easier now because they used to be long tubes, so this pancake shape makes it easier. But this one can be a lot of weight on your lungs and get really tired keeping it on one side. So I'm constantly rotating. I'll have it on the right for 10-20 seconds, then I'll rotate it to the left. Sometimes I hold it right behind my head, but this for me makes it a lot easier and I don't cramp up by keeping it on one side and wearing out that shoulder or arm. Finally caught Curtis, so I was feeling good. Still had to catch Devin though. But up next was the beater. My biggest tip for this is not rushing. A lot of people try to treat it like monkey bars and just hop to the next real fast. The thing is, as you can see, they rotate, so all your weight just slams down. So I always grab it and wait till it's at the bottom before swinging to grab the next one. I decided it's time to take another salt pill just to be safe so I wouldn't cramp and rehydrate. One reason I like using a jogger's vest now is I can carry 2 little 12-ounce water bottles, so that way when I get to rehydrating stations I can drink the water there and save the water that's on my person and just keep moving. So for this obstacle, obviously it helps a lot if you can do a pull-up, but if not, it's still okay. You want to just get high enough that you can hook your bottom foot on your heel and that bottom metal rung. Once you have that, you're able to straighten out and climb right up. So it's just a focus on getting that bottom foot hooked. Stairway to Sparta is interesting. That bottom board, they don't always have that for your feet, so sometimes it's more difficult. But this one is similar as the last obstacle. If you can just get high enough to hook your foot in one of the rock climbing holds, you're set. But that's the hardest part. But remember, if you're doing the open race, it's okay. You can help each other. I've helped plenty of people, and it's nice to get help when you need it. The only time you can't help each other is if you sign up for an age group competitive race. Oh, and if you didn't see, I was finally catching Devin, so at this point he's only a little in front of me, so I got the boost I needed to keep going.
Come on. You'll get the penalty loop done before I get this done.
Alright guys, it was finally my time to shine. Devin had messed up on this obstacle, which I will say is very challenging, and he had to do the penalty loop, so it's time to put it into overdrive. So a tip I give, which some of you may not like, is you have holes in this one, chains and rock climbing holds. I always use the holes. I think they're the easiest to grab, and I don't do what Devin is doing. I don't put my feet to try to grip. For me, I just always slip. I risk touching the ground. So I use my knees as leverage, and I just slide across. And I won't lie, yeah, you're going to bang your knees up a bit, but to me it's worth not doing the 30 burpees or the penalty loop, whichever one they're doing. And I've never failed this obstacle yet. So I'm not saying this is the correct way, I'm just saying it's the way that I can avoid a penalty loop and burpees.
Okay.
What I find is the most helpful on the Atlas carry, and by the way, I can't remember exactly how much this ball weighs, but I think it's 70 or 80 pounds, maybe more, is I always put my fingers directly under it, interlace my fingers or as close as I can, and just lift straight up. That way I have my feet under me, I can run to the side. I've seen people try to curl it up or hold it on their shoulder, which is crazy. So to be safe, I think just holding it underneath and kind of doing a little run waddle is the safest. Now we have the multi-rig. This one can look intimidating, but it's all about rhythm and just making sure you don't slip. So there's usually a set of rings with a pipe in the middle and more rings. When you're going to transition to the pipe, you want to make sure you're as quick as you can to get both hands on the pipe so you don't slip, because gripping it with one hand is very tough. And then near the end, I'm at the point where I'm grabbing each ring with two hands just to make sure I don't slip and risk doing those burpees or penalty lap. And as always, I dust my hands to make sure they're not sweaty and I have more grip. The Z-wall's pretty simple. I felt nervous my first time, but once you've done it once, it's not bad. You mainly want to keep your body close to the wall. You've got spots for your feet and your hands. The main thing is just take your time when you're going around the corners, feel around, make sure you have good movement, and just don't panic.
Volunteering.
Alright, so this obstacle is mentally hard. A lot of people get nervous, they're scared of falling backwards. One, you got big foam pads below you, and two, yeah, it's a little challenging, but like I said, it's more mental. Same thing as a lot of the walls, you just want to be able to get your body over the top. So once you get near the top, either hook your feet or just give yourself a little lunge and make sure the top half of your body gets over the top and your weight will follow. Just don't fall down the other side. So the bucket carry is similar to the sandbag carry. I personally find it a lot easier just because of the shape. The sandbag really weighs down and makes my lungs just feel compressed. But same thing, rotate from your right shoulder to your left shoulder. Maybe hold it right behind like I do when I'm running. And yeah, if you want to be like me, give a little jog at the end just to get it over with. So for the rope climb, I do not follow my own advice. I'm bad at doing it the correct way. So for me, I just muscle up. I'm still young enough and strong enough, I can just get up the rope. But what you want to do is what my dad and friends do. They learned the J-hook. It's a technique where you squeeze the rope below one foot and above the other, and it really becomes a lot easier when you do that. You're able to just hoist yourself up and then catch yourself and rest on your feet. So my dad's 70 and can still do this. I just never taken the time to learn it. So through trial and error, I have found that the best thing to do on this obstacle is just letting yourself fall back. The rope will catch you and you just lean back so you're almost laying down, and then you can just pull a lot quicker because your weight is keeping you on the ground. The first time I tried doing it while I was standing, and it took a lot more effort, a lot more jumping and pulling down. So yeah, just let yourself fall back and do not let go of the rope or you get a penalty lap, and you can burn the heck out of your hands.
Wait, which way?
Oh yeah, did I mention I caught Devin? That's not me bragging, I'm just simply sharing the facts of this race. He definitely had me pushing it though. So last is the cargo net. To me, it's one of the easiest obstacles, it's fun, but a lot of people struggle on it. They get shaky knees, especially at this part where you cross over to the other side. But honestly, you'll be fine, plenty of spots to grab. Definitely safer to face it when you're coming down. I just like to go for speed, except right here apparently. Maybe I got nervous. And then after this was the final obstacle, the fire jump. It was more like a hot coals jump. But that was it. End of the race. Get yourself a banana. There's plenty. I usually don't eat one because I feel like I'm going to throw up when I finish.
Go, Devin! Yeah, Devin! There, man! Yeah! Woo! What a man! How you feeling, man?
Last place buys. I guess I buy lunch now. It's all good.
How your feet doing?
Dude, I gotta go back to Hoke because this is blisters all on the inside.
This guy's almost in his 40s. Let's go.
40s.
But we're all in our 30s, so no excuse.
2 months, 2 months, 2 months.
All right, well, it's over. I have a lot of work to do before my next Spartan race. I was dying, and I'm at lower elevation. It was a pretty flat race. Whew. I got Seattle coming up, and then after that Utah, and Utah is I think like 8 times the elevation of this one. So as far as how, it's 8 times elevation gain. It's like 4,000. This one was about 700. So don't calculate that. My math's off. But it was fun. Hope you enjoyed. And if you guys haven't done a Spartan race, I challenge you to go get uncomfortable. Because remember, there's no growth in the comfort zone and no comfort in the growth zone. All right. Until next time.
All right, guys. Truth is, I didn't reach my goal of 5%, but let's try again in Seattle.